we're doing an update video on my Porsche Taycan. I've owned it now for a year. I've almost put 12,000 miles on it, and I've got a lot of feelings about it, and I'll let you know whether or not I would buy it again. Let's talk about what's going on with this. So to give a recap, this is a 2020 Porsche Taycan Turbo. The MSRP on this thing is $198,000. Now, I bought this back in 2021 and I got a really good deal considering the supply chain shortage. Most people were paying above MSRP for these cars. I was actually able to get it for $159,000, which is really cheap compared to what other people were paying. Now, there were a few reasons I was able to get such a good deal on this car. The first was that it was a dealer demo. So this was something that was on their lot. They were just using it maybe as like a company car. They'd put like 200 miles on it, but it still qualified as a brand new car. So just because it was a dealer demo, we were able to get a great deal. That was reason number one. Reason number two, it was a 2020 model. So they were getting ready to sell their 2022 models because it was kind of in the middle of 2021. So they had to really get rid of this. And so once again, that played into a reason why we got a good deal. But the third reason was I bought it on the very last day of the quarter. So, you know, most dealers, as you know, have incentives to reach certain benchmarks each quarter. And I knew that by getting it at the end of the quarter, I was gonna get the very best deal possible. So all of those reasons factored into me getting basically $40,000 off of MSRP. And not to mention, I got a $7,500 EV tax credit, and I'm able to write this thing off with Section 179 and get a $159,000 write-off in 2021. So lots of reasons why I bought it. Now, at the end of the day, regardless of how good of a deal it was and all that stuff, I just really wanted to get this car. You know, I had done a series on Turo all the way leading up to this, test driving all different types of cars. I test drove a Lamborghini, you know, a Mercedes GT. And after driving all of them, I decided the Porsche Taycan was easily my favorite out of the bunch. I love that it had 4 seats. I love that it's electric. But after driving it for a year, I started to have some major regrets, especially coming from owning a Tesla Model X. There were some things here that were not up to par. Let me show you. So off the bat, some of the weird things with this car that didn't really make sense tech-wise was, number one, there's a wireless charger inside of here that you would put your phone in, but nobody is gonna lift this thing up to go put their phone in, close it, start driving, and then go and mess with their phone again. It's like the biggest hassle ever, and it's literally the dumbest thing I could have ever built for a wireless charger. So that was dumb, number one. Number two, on the steering wheel, there's no place to change your song. It's super weird that, you know, a car this luxurious doesn't have the simple song changer. It's like, I would have never thought that something like that could be missed. Another big one was just the tech as a whole. Now look, the tech itself is beautiful. Like these 4 screens, they look so good, but the problem is the tech that's underneath the screens isn't very good. There's problem after problem with the tech. In fact, I had to send this back for a recall that took 2 weeks to get it done. I didn't get a rental, it took forever. You know, my phone wouldn't even connect to it with the Bluetooth. And it was just quite the experience. After the software update, I got this brand new, you know, infotainment center, but still, it's just not that great. You know, it's very spotty with connecting to Apple CarPlay. The tech overall is just okay for really how good it looks. I would think it would be better, but it's not. But, you know, overall, as far as tech compared to other cars, I would say it still is just as good or better than most cars. For me, I was kind of spoiled because I came from owning a Tesla, which in my opinion has the best tech, period. Another thing I didn't really like about this car was the cruise control feature. So it does a good job of the adaptive lane control, but as far as actually staying in the lanes, it has this setting to do it, but it works sometimes, it doesn't work the other time. It's very sporadic in when it wants to work. And then, you know, if you keep your hands off of it for a few seconds, it tells you, put your hands back on and take control. So it's very different than Tesla's autopilot. And honestly, I don't even think Tesla's autopilot's the best. My wife has a Cadillac Escalade with Super Cruise. And for me, Super Cruise is far better than all of them because Super Cruise is truly hands-free. You can drive it without having to put your hands on it ever, and it takes you everywhere. It's super crazy. Like we went to California and I didn't have to ever touch the wheel. So I think Super Cruise beats them all personally. But nonetheless, the self-driving here, I mean, it's not marketed as a thing. And I mean, you buy a Porsche to, you know, drive it because it is really fun to drive. So I'm not even too mad about that one because I truly enjoy driving this car. But I mean, I know I'm talking about a lot of the things that are kind of annoying, but let me point out some of the really positive things. I mean, one, the car to me is still the most beautiful car on the road. Like a Tesla, no offense, the Model S looks like crap compared to this car. It's not even close. When you're talking the exterior, when you're talking about the interior, don't even get me started on the quality of the build of between each car. I mean, it's not even close. The Porsche crushes it. You know, this car's got massage seats. Its handling is unreal. You know, just even when I turn it right here, it's just a normal turn. Everything is just so smooth. It's just, it's the funnest car I've ever driven. And I've never driven a car since that even compares. I've driven Lamborghinis, I've driven Ferraris, and I mean, they're nice, but I would still prefer this, especially as a daily driver. And this has been my daily driver. I don't own any other cars. My wife has her Escalade, I have this, that's all we have. And so I've driven this for the last year plus. And, you know, I gotta say, I was having some regret about 6-8 months through, and I was really thinking, man, do I wanna get a Tesla and just go get a Model S Plaid? You know, the Model S Plaid it's faster, you know, the tech is better. I think maybe I should do that. And so I ended up putting an order in, but I'm actually thankful that this car had to go get a recall, because for the 2 weeks that this car was on recall, I went and drove a Model S Plaid. I rented one, and then I also rented a Model 3. And I can tell you, after driving them, I remembered why I got rid of Tesla and upgraded to this. It just wasn't the same. Driving the Model S Plaid was like driving a boat. It was just so big. Like, unless you went in a straight line, this car is way better. And I would guess that in any kind of like race, not that I'm a race car driver, this car would beat a Tesla Model S if it involved actually turning and doing things, because the handling with this car is unreal. So after driving the Tesla and everything else for a couple of weeks, when I got this back, it made me reappreciate what I had. And I guess the saying always goes, the grass ain't always greener on the other side, you know? You do something so long, you have something for so long that you think, oh man, maybe Tesla was better. Maybe I should go back to it. And then you go back to it and you're like, yeah, I remember why I left. And that's exactly how I feel with this car. So, you know, if you were to ask me a year after driving this, how do I feel about it? Would I trade it in? What would I do? If you asked me before test driving, I'd have been like, yeah, you know, I think maybe I would have went with the Tesla, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm like, no, dude, this car, I'm keeping it. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it fun? Yeah, you can still do this.
Oh, my stomach.
My camera guy. You know, you can still hit it. And it's hard to tell the difference between 3 seconds 0 to 60 and 2 seconds 0 to 60. I mean, fast is fast. So I don't think I'm missing anything there, but I can tell you, I can for sure feel the difference in handling this car. I can feel the difference when I touch the steering wheel and the luxury. I can feel the difference when I sit in the seat and it is just firm and molded to my back, unlike a Tesla where it's like I'm sitting on a pillow. It feels kind of cheap. You know, everything about this car is pure luxury. It looks classy. You know, when I drive through anywhere, just at the street, people are looking at this car. People aren't looking at Model S's or Model 3s. They're pretty generic. So would I recommend the Porsche Taycan to somebody after driving it for so long? Absolutely. Is the Tesla a better value if you go get one for $100,000 versus $200,000? Sure. But if money's not a problem and you're just picking the car that you like best, I mean, I'll take this one every day of the week over the Tesla Model S and over any of these other cars that I drove. But anyways, I hope you liked the video. If you want to see what car I'm going to buy next, it's actually on pre-order, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.